Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If this is your very first time of joining us on this channel, we've been talking about how you can migrate to Canada. We did also say that we will be talking about how you can migrate to the United States. That will be videos that I will try to do in the future. But for now, we are talking about how you can immigrate to Canada. And we just started the provincial nomination series. I've done one for Nova Scotia. This is the second one that I'm doing. And this today's own will be centered on Saskatchewan. Saskatchewan is one of the provinces in the prairie region of Canada. When you talk about the prairies, you talk about Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba. Uh, these are provinces that we call the prairies. So back in the day, Saskatchewan provincial nomination used to be, a program that a lot of people, were able to make use of to be able to enter Canada, especially those who age is not on their side. But lately, or from I think about 4 or 5 years ago, it has not been as flexible as it used to be. You remember that I did say that when that my perspective, because I know quite a lot of people have done videos on migrating to Canada, but I will be bringing an honest perspective to Canadian immigration as it is, so that you can know what to expect. So today we are talking about Saskatchewan provincial nomination, or what we call SIMP. And the first thing I would like to talk about is that when you go on their website, the very first thing that you want to check, as you may see here, is the what we call the excluded occupation list. So the excluded occupation list, when you click on it, you open it, those are the occupations that they are not going to be selecting from their draw. When they do a draw, they're not going to be selecting any of these occupations. There are so many of them. I cannot begin to mention them now. So you may want to check for yourself and see those lists, so that if your occupation is in that list, you may not want to bother yourself about attempting to apply for this Saskatchewan provincial nomination. Another thing I'd like to say is that there are different pathways. uh, there are different programs that Saskatchewan has. However, I'll be centering mostly on the international skilled worker. The international skilled worker, the Saskatchewan Express Entry, and also the occupation in demand. The occupation in demand, the difference majorly is that the Express Entry one as it requires that you have to be in the express entry pool first before you can create a profile for it, while the one for occupation in demand does not require you to be in the express entry pool. That's for those who for some reason, maybe age is not on your side and stuff like that. You are not able to get into the express entry pool. Then you can use the occupation in demand. Another major difference is that the the English language test score that you need for the occupation in demand does not necessarily have to be as high as the one that you need for that of the one that requires you to have an express entry profile. So let's dive right into it. The first thing you want to do is to check your eligibility. So you want to assess whether you are eligible. So you are required, they have a 100 points grid, of which you have to score 60 points for you to qualify. So you must score 60 points for you to qualify. And this is the way you check what your points are. Number one, for education, the highest you can have. Now, please understand that they have their own unique way of grading their own score. So they don't follow the general one for the express entry. Uh, they have their own unique way of grading their own score. So for example, for the express entry, if it's a bachelor's degree that you have, your score will be 21 points. But as you can see here, it is 20 points. If you have a master's degree, don't forget you have to evaluate your qualification to determine its Canadian equivalent. So for them, when you are doing the application, you are required to submit both your certificate and also your evaluation. You can do your evaluation either with World Educational Services, or what we call ICES, or IQAS. I think there are about six of them. So whatever the Canadian equivalent of your education in your home country is, excuse me, that's what you are going to grade or base your points assessment on. So if it comes out as a master's degree, you will be getting 23 points. If it's a bachelor's degree, you are getting 20 points. If it's a trade certification that is awarded in the province of Saskatchewan. Now, that one it may not be something that those who are outside can use. It's for those who are inside who have done the trade certification training and they are able to get the journey person certificate, then they can choose or they can get 20 points. If the equivalency of your evaluation is 2 years Canadian diploma, you get 15. Now, I quickly want to say something for those who try to use HND. This is talking directly to audience from Nigeria. The HND has not been awarded 20 points like you have for the bachelor's degree. Most often for Saskatchewan, they may end up giving you 15 points. So to be on the safe side, don't use 20 points if the certificate you are using is HND. So let me quickly move to the work experience. Your work experience must relate to the job that you have put on your application. So your work experience you must have the right tier code, or what we used to call NOC. Now, this is the way they grade points for that one. So for your current 5 years experience, if you have up to 5 years current experience in that particular occupation, you get 10 points. If it's 4 years that you have, you get 8 points. If it's 3 years, you get 6 points. If it's 2 years, you get 4 points. If it's 1 year, you get 2 points. Now, your previous 5 years experience is also graded. So for example, the maximum you can get for work experience is 15, and that 15 will be that you have 10 years current work experience in the same field. Please note, it is not in different occupation. It has to be in one occupation. So that's how grade what your points will be for work experience. So let's say you have 7 years work experience, current work experience, you get 10 for the immediate 5, and then you get 2 for the previous or for the previous 2 year or the first 2 years you started the job. If it's 6 years experience that you have, notice here that it is zero they awarded uh to the one that is less than 1 year. Even if it's 1 year, it's zero that they are going to award to it. So if you have 6 years experience, you will end up getting the same points with somebody who has 5 years experience. For language ability, you get 20 points if you have CLB 8. If it's CLB 7, you get 18 points. From on RCC's website, you can open it and then know what your CLB level is. For example, CLB. Now, if you open it, hold on. If you open it, you have, so for CLB, if you So this is for IELTS, which is the common exam that we do. So for CLB 8, you must score 6.5 in reading, you must score 6.5 in writing, you must score 7.5 in listening, and 6.5 in speaking. But from what I'm hearing these days, which I know, the PTE and the CELP seems to be easier than IELTS. So you may want to go for those. Now let's move to age. So you get the maximum points for age, which is 12, if you are between 22 and 34. If you are between 22 and 34. So you must, when you are doing this grading, you must also think, because if you say you have maximum, if you say you are not more than 34 years, and you also have 10 years work experience, you are telling them that you started work and you have not changed your occupation since when you are 24 up until now. That's what it means. So between 22 and 34, you get 12 points. Between 35 and 45, you get 10 points. Between 46 and 50, you get 8 points. If you are above 50, you cannot get any points. So for here, you can get for connection to Saskatchewan labor market and adaptability. If you have an employment, a high-skilled employment offer from a Saskatchewan employer, you get 30 points. If you have family, now that family, that your relative must be at least a cousin. So it's either your sibling or a cousin, then you'll be able to get 20 points, if you have that familial connection. The reason why this is important is that a lot of people who have moved to Canada move to some of these provinces where their family can use them to be able to get this extra 20 points. So by the time they are taking those who, when they do a draw and they select people from the pool, most often the points may not drop to those who do not have family there. So for example, let's say you and someone, you tie on 60 points, but if the person has a relative like a cousin, that will give the person extra 20 points. So the person will have 80 points, and that will make them to have an edge over you. So for most of their draws these days, or for some time, it has happened that those, for example, if you don't have a family there, the highest you can get is 70. That's the highest you can get. And that means you are not more than 34. So, and then you have a master's, you have CLB 8 in IELTS, and you have 10 years work experience. So if someone has someone who has 60, you have 70, but the person has a relative there, then that person will get 80 points and you will stay at 70. So these are the ways by which you can know if you qualify. And now when you have found out, now another thing is that, which is, this also is very, very, very important. Your occupation, the way they judge it, is that the education, what you studied in school, must be related to your occupation. If it is not related, even if you have 10 years work experience, they will cancel that application. So for example, look at this financial sales representative. You need to go and check it on the website, on ESDC's website. Because of my time, I am rushing. So you quickly scroll down and then look at the educational requirements to be able to practice as a financial sales representative, or whatever your occupation is. So look at here, they said a bachelor's degree or college diploma related to commerce or economics may be required. So when you check the one for your own occupation, check what they must require that you would have studied in the university or in your higher education. If the course you studied is not related to what they state here, don't bother yourself about applying for Saskatchewan nomination program. So these are things that we need, to understand, and they are the groundwork that we are going to have to ensure that we have done before we apply. So when you want to apply, when you have made sure of all of these, then you can click on apply to SIMP. When you click to apply to SIMP, you will see all of the instruction, that it will give you. So you follow those instructions to be able to create a profile. So what they do is that you first create a profile, you choose your NOC. Then when they do a draw and they pick your tier or your NOC code, that's when you then submit all of the documents that is